I'm Brayden Robertson, and I'm joined here today with Luke Meredith. Coach, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. All right, let's go ahead and get started. How long have you been coaching basketball?
It's my 17th year in some capacity. Started off at Ben Davis High School as an assistant, fresh out of college, then moved on to Avon High School as an assistant, and then for the past 4 years, the head basketball coach here at Greenfield-Central.
What has inspired you to become a coach?
People, whether it be the kids that you're coaching, the people around you on your staff, the people that molded me into the man and coach that I am, coaches that, previously, whether it be Coach Bennett, who we just recently played, who's now the head coach entering his 20th year as the head coach at Speedway, whether it be the people that I coached under, Jason Young and Jeff Holloway and Curtis Wright, or whether it be the people on my staff now, Coach Bolden, Coach Johnson, Coach Mullins, Coach Loudenberg, Coach Green, and then whether it be the kids, it's relationships and the kids and, just the growth that you have as they become adults and still communicating with those kids. And I just think coaching is a lot about life, but it's all about relationships and it's all about people.
What qualities do you think make up a good basketball coach?
I mean, you have to be knowledgeable, but I think once you get to the 4A level, or really once you get to be a head coach, I think every coach is knowledgeable. I really, truly don't feel like on any given Friday night that me personally, I can coach or out-coach anyone, whether it be Trent Whitaker at New Pal or Matt Moulton, the last two coaches that we're going to play here at Yorktown. I don't think I can out-coach them. I just think it's about, the culture of your program. And like I talk about, people play for people, the kids, and will they play for you? Are they all in? How hard do they play? So when you just talk about, what makes a good basketball coach, I think it's someone that cares about the players, someone that cares about the school, someone that cares about their staff. Key word there is just caring, just bringing your best every single day, the kids knowing that you have their best interest, the kids knowing that you're going to hold them accountable. And when a coach cares, it goes a long way. They'll play hard for you, they'll play hard for the school, they'll play hard for their basketball program. So that's what we try to teach here in our basketball program is people play for people, and I would like to think that they would play for me, and I also like to think that they would call me if they need something, whether it be 3 years down the line after they graduate or it's Saturday night and they get in a situation. People play for people.
One quality you definitely bring is energy and effort. I will agree with that. When you started coaching high school basketball, what areas were you good in, and then what areas did you need to improve in?
All right. Well, that's that 10,000 hour rule. When I first got in, I just didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what it took to be successful. I didn't know the film aspect of it. I didn't know the full undertaking of what it would be to be a head varsity basketball coach. So I always thought that I wanted to be one. I didn't know what it took. And so learning from those coaches like I just talked about previously, whether it be Jason Young at Avon when he was the head coach or Jeff Holloway when he was the head coach, and learning from other people, Ryan Osborne, who was on our staff at Avon, he's now the head coach at Carmel. But there's just people along the way that you take different things from. But even now when I watch film, there's certain people that I take things away from. I'm not smart enough to come up with a lot on my own, but I do think through hard work and just figuring it out and just grinding, in every aspect I've been a member of. So I've coached middle school basketball, I've been a volunteer assistant, I've been a freshman head coach, I've been a JV head coach, and now here I am being a varsity head coach. So I think all aspects of an entire program. And we talk year 4 here, a lot of these seniors that I had were freshmen. Heck, a lot of the freshmen, they were in our juice program, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. So I think that's the trademark of a good program, as here we are year 4 and we're still building this.
When you arrived at Greenfield-Central, there wasn't much of a reliable culture. So how were you able to change that when you got here?
Well, we talked, what do we bring as a culture? It's got to be something that, what is your identity? So as a basketball program, what do we be known for? We talked about juice, compete, standard, chip, and juice has kind of become synonymous with our basketball program, and I think that's very important. But from the top bottom, I do have 2 boys still currently in our youth program. I have a 6th grader and a 4th grader, and at the time I had a 2nd grader and a 3rd or 4th grader. So it's really just getting kids within the community to want to be a part of our youth program, and then focusing on the junior high and developing those young men, and then also obviously what we do here at the high school. But it's got to be top bottom, all those kids. So when I go and we're playing on Saturday mornings and I see those kids with juice on the back of their jerseys, I just think it's awesome, and then you see opposing fans now still using that against us because that's who we are. We bring energy and effort because we might not be the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest, but our whole goal is to outwork you. So juice has become, kind of our culture, and culture is a funny word because you have to fight for that every single day. So that's why we talk about standard, and I say it all the time, but it's easy at 7:30 against New Pal, your biggest rival, to bring the juice. it's really hard sometimes on a random Wednesday after a biology class to bring that juice. So that's one thing I challenge all of our kids, whether they're at the junior high or whether they're JV or varsity. That's who we are, and that's Greenfield-Central boys basketball.
Since arriving at Greenfield-Central and becoming a head coach, is there a certain game or moment that really showed off your coaching expertise?
Man, I don't really have a coaching expertise. I just show up every day and work my tail off. But I would say I wouldn't necessarily say there's one game. I would just say over the course of our tenure, and I say our tenure because Coach Bolden, Coach Loudenberg, Coach Johnson, and Coach Mullins have been here my entire tenure. So our tenure. We've won 40 some odd games, but it's just, we went from 4 wins to 12 wins. We won 14 wins or had 14 wins. And last year we won 15. And this year we've started off and we're 4-1, but it's just, as an entire group, we're getting better. We have this identity as we're going to play zone. We're going to be physical defensively, even though we are undersized. And then we're going to spread you out. We're going to shoot threes. So I wouldn't necessarily say there's one particular game. I would just say in general, when you walk into our locker room, things are a certain way. Kids' lockers are shut. The scouting reports have to be on their chairs. You know that the board is going to be this certain way. So there's an expectation of this is who we are and this is how we do things. And that's part of that culture like you talked about. So I wouldn't say there's one particular thing, but I would just say if you're a young freshman and you walk in here, you have this expectation of this is how we do things. So when Dylan and Tyler and Owen and DJ and those guys come in here and say, hey, this is how we do things, that is one thing that I think that we've really done as a collective group for our program.
This past offseason, what was your biggest point of emphasis going into this season?
Play the best teams in the state. We wanted to show up and work, and we played the Ben Davises. We played them twice. We played, Pikes and the Cathedrals, and I just wanted to show up and play the best of the best and see where we stacked up. And I think that gave us a kind of sort of confidence coming into the season. Last year we scrimmaged Morristown, and no disrespect to them, but this year we scrimmaged Warren Central. So I just think that we wanted to come into this thinking and knowing after the tough Anderson loss, we can do this and we can play with anybody. And you know what? We have dudes too, and we put time in as well. So just having that confidence this summer, but the biggest point of emphasis was come in, get shots up. Shooters aren't born, they're created. And then let's just go out to different parts of Indy and play the best in the state.
So I know the answer to this, but what is your end goal for this season?
Win sectional. That's something that we've talked about since I got this job, and we've been striving for. We talk about, the code and the gun as 1998, so it hasn't happened for a really long time, and I know it's really hard to do. But yes, we want to have a winning record for the 4th year in a row. Yes, we would love to win conference, but winning that sectional and cutting down the nets at Muncie Central would be something that'd be very special.
After losing 4 athletic seniors last year, what have you gotten guys to fulfill their roles?
Well, it is tough. We just talk about glue guys. We talk about certain guys. We kind of know that Dylan Moles is going to be, our main guy. And then we have Braylon, who's significantly improved in his 2nd year. And then we have Mr. Captain, Tyler Kirkhoff, who's going to steady the ship. We get Owen back on Saturday. But then we talk about glue guys like yourself. You're a guy coming from JV, and a lot of times juniors that are now in the program just expect to play, and you had to go through it, to grow through it. So kids like you that are glue guys, kids like Jay Kenton that are glue guys, kids like DJ Arnett that played JV last year, and he's a guy that played 2.5 years JV, but he's waited his time and he's just improved and got better. So when you can mix some of those guys that we know that can score, we got to mix some of those other guys that are so much more valuable than they ever get credit for, of boxing out, diving on the floor, ELO, early, loud, and often talking. Who's our Draymond? That's what we talk about. So just being able, that's a true job of any good coach, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that I am a good coach. I'm just saying anybody that can get a collective group of individuals and get them to believe when we make a shot, we make a shot. It's not just Dylan made a shot or Braylon made a shot or Kirkhoff made a shot. It's we made this happen because I set a daggone good screen, because I executed this play, because I talked to him and got him on this side of the floor. So as a collective group, that's something that we're really getting better at every day.
Wrapping it up here, I got one more thing for you. So we're going to be losing a lot of key seniors after this year. So how are you going to get guys to fulfill their roles on and off the court next year?
Same thing we always do. Show up and do the work. At the end of the season, whenever that is, after spring break, you already know I'm going to be here an hour before school. And if you want it, you got to have it. On our shooting shirts this year, it says work. So work will work, win, wishing won't. Yeah, we're losing a lot. But the guys that we will have coming back, we're going to work our tails off to make sure we represent our school, our community, and our basketball program the right way.
That's all I got for you. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.